Bye. Having some problems there, buddy.
Maybe one of the flags.
There we go. Actually, let's do this. We'll just put it over here because it'll be closer. It'll be a lot closer to the device. That way, the signal will be a little bit stronger.
All right.
And we can still get some of the downtown area. Maybe we'll even put the Muscatine flag in there. Look at that. Oz would be proud of that one.
We're in the second week in November, and I know a lot of focus are also being mindful of things that we're thankful for. We talked about being thankful for our freedom that we've been afforded in the because for our veterans. So it was a really nice time for Monday, and I know our community really rose up and did a lot of celebrations in honor of our veterans. And so thankful for our freedoms last week. And this week I wanted to just share how I know you join me in being thankful for our family and our friends. I mean, what would life be if we didn't have our family and friends? This is my best friend, Mindy. She and I were forced to go on a business trip to Hawaii. We couldn't help it. It was a really good time. But we've been cohorts for a long time, she and I. So that was a lot of fun. This is more family. My dad and one of my brothers isn't, two of my brothers aren't pictured there because it's a little bit tight of a picture, but one of my brothers wasn't there, but 4 brothers and my sister and I and our dad are in this picture. Thankful for each and every one of them. You know, I always feel bad for people when they say that they're an only child, and one of our grandsons is an only child, and I always think, well, somebody that's really missing the times I've ever had her with my brother. I'm very grateful for the crew of them. And this is our sons isn't there, but they're all 6 kids there, and I'm growing kids. Christmas kept down in the year. It's a good time, and I know we're all very thankful for where we be without them to celebrate life with us. So thankful for family and friends this week and always, and for the freedoms that we have last week. So I would like to also thank everyone who came out to the casino night. It was the 3rd annual casino night that we had last Friday as a fundraiser for the YMCA. Everybody dresses up in the Great Gatsby era, and it is so much fun. All the money that is raised goes to support being able to provide YMCA memberships to everybody in our community. I'm telling you, the get-ups that people come up with are so nice and fun, and you don't have to know anything about gambling. It's just a really good event. And we've been doing this the last couple years at the Pearl Button Museum. It is just the best venue. A really, really nice time. Shout out to all of those who worked so hard to make the event. Look at Mel there. Oh, she always is just perfect. But shout out to everybody who made this possible, and thanks to the Y, to Geneva Country Club for catering. The food was amazing as usual, and certainly the museum is also very, very nice. Well, we have a couple of great guests tonight, and our first one is Jean Pfeiffer. I know most of you know her. She's the Executive Director of Muscatine Legal Services. Welcome, Jean.
Oh, hi.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
So how long has Muscatine Legal Services been here?
1971 we started here.
Oh
in
my
Muscatine.
goodness. And how long have you been?
January of 1992.
Okay, quite a while. Right down there on 2nd Street, right?
Yes, we're at 122 East 2nd Street. We're right by Sherwin-Williams.
Okay. So, and it's been the same building forever, hasn't it?
Well, we moved to that location it was August of 2007. Previously, we had been where Guadalajara is, so we were just up a block.
Just a block up. Okay.
Right.
So how many attorneys are there?
There's just 2. We have a full-time office manager too. That's Cindy Sorensen.
And what kind of cases do you do?
Well, the mission of Muscatine Legal Services is to help low-income people. So we try to focus on cases that have a direct impact on their daily life. What we largely do are civil cases. So we do custody, child support, divorce actions, paternity, guardianship, some simple wills, things like that.
Okay.
We also have a foreclosure program in which we represent people for no cost if they've had a foreclosure action served upon them by their bank or lending agency.
Try to help keep them in their home.
Right.
Okay.
Or at least, if anything, if they're so water, we can at least delay that and hopefully buy them maybe 6 months of time so that they can have somewhere to go or
Some
figure
kind
out
of
what to
plan.
do. Right.
Sure, sure.
We also partner with Family Resources in Muscatine, and we represent all the applicants or petitioners for 236 domestic abuse petitions.
So the no contact
The no
orders.
contact orders,
Okay.
in which an order for no contact is entered, and then it also, if there's children involved, it sets up custody and visitation. Those orders last for 1 year. And then during the year, if there's any violations of those no contact orders, we prosecute those. Like a first offense could be 7 days in jail. There's also, people sometimes file for extensions of those, so we handle those too.
Okay.
We also have a special program we've had funding from United Way for, is if any of those applicants keep their no contact order for at least 6 months, then we'll do a no cost divorce or custody case for them.
Oh,
for
how
free.
nice and helpful that is.
Right. So hopefully that, maybe gives a permanent solution to some of this and ends
Sure.
the impact of domestic violence in our
And
community.
prevents it from being ongoing.
Right.
Okay. So what about criminal cases?
We also do some misdemeanor criminal cases,
Okay.
as well as juvenile cases, which are CHINAs, which are called Child in Need of Assistance. That's when a family is, maybe having some troubles with supervision, or maybe the parents are using drugs. And there's also juvenile delinquency cases, like when a child commits a similar criminal offense that an adult would, but they're handled in juvenile court.
Okay.
We also do quite a few of the commitments that are filed in Muscatine for substance abuse or mental health.
Either one.
We represent the people that are having those filed against them.
So you don't represent the families wanting to get
No,
someone?
no.
You're
That would actually be, I guess, no one really represents them. The county attorney is filing on their behalf.
Okay.
But I wouldn't say the county attorney represents them.
Okay.
But anytime those are brought against someone, they have a right to a court-appointed attorney. And we do a lot of those because we're available and we're local in town.
Sure.
And those hearings are set fairly fast, usually within 5 days.
So if the person says, well, maybe their family's trying to get them committed for either mental health or substance abuse, and they say, no, I really don't have a problem with these things, then you would state their case to try to
Right,
help
and
them.
always when these are filed, an evaluation is ordered. So then we do have a doctor's report.
Okay.
So hopefully, most of the time the question is it outpatient or inpatient treatment? But at times, the doctor may say they don't have any problems, then the case would be dismissed.
Sure. So do you do things like immigration law?
No, we do not do that.
Okay. So where do people go for stuff like that?
I believe
Des Moines?
Well, there's a local lady. Her name is Summer, I believe, and she's here in Muscatine. She does immigration. There's also a younger gentleman that's in West Liberty, and he has immigration.
So it's a
firm.
specialized
Yes,
thing.
most of
Okay.
those people largely practice just immigration law.
Okay. Okay. So what about if people had problems with their jobs?
Well, we don't sue employers or anything
Okay.
like that, but we do represent people if they're applying for unemployment benefits. We also do Social Security cases, those Social Security appeals for disability.
Boy, there's a lot of that, isn't
Yes,
there?
yeah, there is a number of that.
Sure.
And if people have questions on food stamp or housing appeals, we help them with that too.
Okay. What about if somebody rented a place and they moved out and they couldn't then the landlord wouldn't give them their deposit back?
We could assist with that too. Those
Okay.
those are usually in small claims court.
Sure.
Also the FEDs, forcible entry and detainers,
Yes.
that a landlord would file, and then we could represent the
The
respondent,
people.
right?
Okay.
And then that usually comes into play if there's damage or if they don't get their deposit back or things like that.
Okay.
Those are all usually handled in the same
Sure.
time.
So you're not affiliated with Iowa Legal Aid, right?
No, we are not. We're a standalone nonprofit, just locally formed. We have a volunteer board of directors.
Okay.
And we are not affiliated with what is known now as Iowa Legal Aid. It used to be Legal Services of Iowa. Those are federally funded agencies, and they're located in certain areas, like in the state of Iowa.
So you don't get any funding through there?
We don't get any federal funding.
So where does your funding come from then?
Probably our largest funder is United Way here in Muscatine. We also get money from Muscatine County. And then we get money from IOLTA, which is known as interest on lawyers' trust accounts. All attorneys have to hold money for their clients, like in real estate or custody or divorce cases in a
Sure.
trust, till they expend that money or earn the fees. So any interest that's earned on those accounts is pooled by the state of Iowa, and then they give out grants. We have to do yearly grant requests to them. We've also in the last couple of years it's administered through IOLTA, but it's called the Bank of America grant. And there were some large class actions, I believe, in federal court, and they got a lot of money. So they're kind of giving those out to agencies that help with housing.
Okay.
And that's how we got our foreclosure grant, to assist people with foreclosure actions for no cost.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
So if you went to an attorney and you wanted to hire them for something and they say it's going to cost you $10,000 retainer, and you give that to them, they have to put it in a separate account?
A separate account.
And they don't get the interest?
No, they don't get the interest.
Oh.
If they write a check like for a filing fee, they can do that. Or once they earn their fees, they take those out and take it from the trust account to their general account. But while it's
Okay.
sitting there,
The money goes to give out to help.
right. I mean,
Organizations like-
it's just probably pennies for most
Sure,
accounts.
sure.
But when you pool that through the whole state of Iowa, it does add up.
Well, that's very nice. So you have an application that lists, I think we have that, Chad, don't we? An application that lists the, there must be some kind of a structure,
Right.
guidelines.
We have people, when they just call for services, as long as we can do their case, and it's in Muscatine County, we have them fill out what's called a screening form.
And that's what this is
And
here?
that's what that is. It just
Okay.
makes sure we're not currently like representing the other party, which
Well,
would be
yeah,
against
that would-
ethics for all attorneys.
Uh-huh.
And just gives us their address and what their income is. We're looking at household income, and then we use that to translate into a fee on a sliding scale.
Oh, okay.
So we do have to collect small fees in civil cases, and then their court costs and filing fees.
Okay. So like these are the sliding fee scales.
Right.
So if you needed help with something and you wouldn't have to pay $1,000 to the lawyer, maybe you'd only have to pay $100.
Yeah, it depends on you know,
Okay.
it goes up,
Uh-huh.
and we ask for 10 hours. If you see 10 hours of payment,
Okay.
10 hours of payment. If we don't use that, we give them a refund once their case is closed. So we don't
Okay.
take any more than what we're using.
Well, what a service that is to low-income families, though, because, I'm sure whatever came into their life to bring this up is an unexpected event, and it's hard to have money for things like that set aside.
And we try to work with people, if they can't always pay all of it up front, if they could get a chunk of it, and then we'll let them come in and we'll help them, and then they can pay on that.
Okay, very good. So are there any changes coming up to the organization?
No, not.
Everything just kind of runs status quo?
Yep, we're doing fine. We're just keeping busy.
Is it hard for you to, there's a list of all the different services that you do.
That's just like our little brochure or flyer
Sure.
that lists, some of the cases
The main
we
things
do.
that you do.
Right. We don't do personal injury, and we don't do
Okay.
bankruptcy, so those are kind of some big things.
You probably get a lot of calls on
We
that,
do,
though.
we do.
I bet
And
you
I
do.
don't think really any local people have to do a bankruptcy for that.
Okay, sure. And then do they fill out this form?
Right. We can mail that to them. They can pick it up at our office, or they can download it from our website, www.muscatinelegal.com.
Is there a waiting list or anything?
No, we
like
don't
that?
have any waiting lists, so.
So you just naturally have enough to keep you busy,
Right.
but not too much.
Right. We kind of can stagger, they're filling things out and filing.
Uh-huh.
And because they have to pay some fees, most people don't even always have that right away. So it
Sure.
might take them a little time.
To get
Now,
that
if
gathered.
someone is a respondent, like that means, let's say their husband got divorced, we become involved right away on that, because there's time periods they have to answer and
Sure,
participate
you don't
in the
want
case.
you can't put that off.
Right.
Sure.
So a lot of times they have to right away, but if they pay a portion, then we will. And then you also do China, do like this one, do the case, and then their criminal is public intoxication, cases like any other court-appointed attorney. We're paid through the state public system.
Okay.
The local attorneys are also on that list, and
Uh-huh.
that's just something.
And both of you are as well?
Right, we're both on that list.
Okay. Very good. I think it's a great service and for it to be there since 1972, that really says a lot.
Well, I think it speaks to our community that we prioritize that and helping, people of all other or a child as a guardian ad litem.
Okay, and just looking out for the best interest
Right.
of them. Well, I think that's great.
Well, thank you.
I think it's great. And do you love it?
I do. It's very interesting.
Just to be able to have, everything's going to be different each day.
Right, because we do practice a variety of legal issues, and I like working with people too. I don't think I'd like just sitting writing appeals or just working on taxes or something. We see people and interact with people every day.
And you are able to get to know them and
we know the staff at the courthouse and
sure.
So
sure.
it's a good position.
That's great. That's great. Well, I certainly hope that, funding continues for the program because, obviously it's so needed for people in the community.
Well, thank you.
How many clients a year do you see?
We usually open roughly about 1,000 cases. That includes
It's sad, but it's so needed for you to be there to help them.
Right.
Because just
and I think it helps those get
families.
ordered right.
Yes, yes. That I remember back when they started that. Is it 236?
Right.
When they started that, it was such a service to the victims to not have to go try to get a restraining order. To have that be able to be something that they could get at no cost immediately without having to jump through so many hoops.
Right. The clerk usually waives the filing fee and the service costs at the sheriff.
Yes.
So those can be done with no fees.
Yeah, that's great.
And people usually start with family resources, and they do the initial counseling, and then we both work together to help them get their order.
Oh, yeah. Keep the families safe.
Right.
Yep. And let them know what their rights are
and that's
protection.
important for the children, too.
Yeah, sure. Because even the Department of Human Services will get involved there. You can't have the children be in a home.
Right. A lot of times, I think
violence.
the departments, too, is encouraged maybe a parent to file those.
Sure.
To protect the children.
Right. We got to look out for our friends and neighbors. Yep. Is there anything that the people at home need to know? Just call you if they have any questions, if they have any legal issues come up.
If we can't always represent them, we can maybe direct them in the right direction.
Can you give them referrals to other
places? Well,
we
don't really refer, but we can point them in the right direction.
Sure. Give them some good ideas on where they should go. Very good. Well, thank you so much.
Oh, well, thank you for having me.
We appreciate it, and thanks for coming.
Thanks.
All right. Well, we get ready to transition into our next guest. I have several save the dates I want to share with you. This Friday night is the Character Development Trivia Night. This, oh my goodness, I can't remember how many years this has been, but I think I've been at almost every one of them. It's going to be at the Rendezvous on Friday night, November 15th. There's still room for more people. So the doors open at 6:30 at the Rendezvous, and you can just come there, tables of 8. But if you only have 6, don't worry about it. Come on out. Amy Hessel, she'll hook you up. The trivia actually starts at 7. You can bring your own food. If you've ever been to a trivia night, just gather a bunch of friends, and there's a big round table. You can bring all kinds of snacks and hors d'oeuvres. Everybody always tries to outdo themselves and be the one who is bringing the best hors d'oeuvres. You do have to make sure that you don't bring any drinks in. Purchase those from the Rendezvous. They provide this venue at a low cost, and we want to make sure that they can get support for their organization from the drinks that people purchase. Also, before you get to trivia night, you can stop out at the Art Center. There's a holiday open house going on, It's amazing. There's a small fee to get in, but then there's all kinds of ornaments on view. There's going to be shopping. You can purchase them. There's going to be crafts. It's like $20 to get in. If you get your ticket in advance, it's better. It saves you $5. $10 for under 18. There'll be food there from the rendezvous and drinks. It's a wonderful, wonderful evening. It's 5 to 7, so you could go to the holiday open house and then get over to the rendezvous for trivia night. Next, I'd like you to save the date for Coffee with the Mayor. That's going to be Monday, and that is going to be at the Salvation Army. We're going to be there from 11:30 to 12:30 having lunch with the folks that come on down to eat lunch at Salvation Army. They open their doors every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday to anyone who would like to come in and have a hot lunch. Very good food. I'm on their board, and I've been there before for board meetings and had lunch, and it's always amazing. So no cost. Come on down and we'll have lunch and drinks and coffee and have a really nice time visiting on Monday the 18th. Lastly, before we get to our next guest, we have a new thing in Muscatine, and it's a diaper pantry. So, you know, we have the food pantry for families that need assistance with their food needs. But there's a lot of young families or any age family who struggles to buy diapers. It's a very expensive thing when you think about how much it costs to continue to put diapers to meet your needs every week. So some churches got together and asked for some assistance from the nonprofit organizations, and we're going to have a community diaper bank. And this November 10th through the 17th, so it's already started, is the diaper collection week. So there are boxes strategically located around the community at churches, at the Y, at the Salvation Army, at the new Muskie Early Learning Center. And if you haven't been there yet, it's the old Colorado School. It's a really great facility. Pearl Plaza and Muscatine Community College. You can drop off diapers. And if you want to make it really easy on yourself, go to Hy-Vee. In the aisle, there's little slips, donation slips. You can just take that and pay for it with your groceries, and they will deliver them for you. You don't even have to drop them off. Easy peasy, help your neighbors. So November 10th through the 17th. And now we have our next guest, and she is with Boy Scouts of America, and her first name is Amy, and her second name is Borgstead. Borgstead. I knew I was going to get that wrong. Welcome, Amy.
Thanks. Thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm so glad you came. You know what? It's taken a lot to get you here.
Yeah.
So if you guys remember, you know, we've been doing this almost 2 years, and we had one night where we had an equipment malfunction, the little brain that sends it out to the world. And so we couldn't do our show that night, and Amy was on target to come that night, so we had to cancel. And then when we rescheduled, you were ill.
Yeah.
And so there you go. So third time's the charm.
Here we are.
Welcome, Amy.
Thank you.
So how long have you been with the Boy Scouts?
Professionally since January.
Okay.
So still pretty new.
Yeah. Do you have a region?
Yeah, so I oversee Muscatine County and a little bit of Cedar County.
Okay.
So mostly Muscatine is where the majority of our scouts are, and then I also oversee Wilton and Durant and West Liberty.
Fun.
Yeah.
How many different troops are there?
So here in Muscatine we have 5 troops.
Okay.
And then we have 1 in West Liberty, 1 in Durant, and 1 in Wilton.
All right.
Yeah.
2 of our grandsons are at the one in Wilton.
Okay.
And we've had tons of family at the ones here in Muscatine. So you get to watch even the Eagle Scout projects?
Yeah, they happen all year round. The kids start from kindergarten. Now we accept kindergartners, so we have kindergarten through 17. So we have parents that see the kids go all the way through the program.
So much fun.
Yeah.
So what are the core values of being a Boy Scout?
Yeah, so we have like our Scout oath and law. So a Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah. So
do they do different things to work towards each one of those attributes?
Yeah, so they start, they have different ranks that they work their way up through. So
Okay.
our youngest age is elementary school, and each grade is a different, I don't know what we technically call them, but they're tigers and
Sure.
wolves and bears. And then when they turn 11 or they go into 6th grade, they cross over into the older scout program,
Okay.
which is formerly called Boy Scouts, and it's now just called Scouts BSA.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not Boy Scouts of America anymore.
It is.
It
So,
is.
Yes, it is a little confusing. So our organization as a whole is called Boy Scouts of America, and we exist all across the country. And I like to describe it kind of like an umbrella. So under the Boy Scouts of America, we have several different branches. We have Cub Scouts, which is boys and girls kindergarten through 5th grade.
Okay.
And then we have Scouts BSA, which is boys and girls 6th grade through 12, so they're 11 through 17. We have Venturing, which is a co-ed program, youth 14 to 20, and it's more high adventure based. So
Not heard of that.
yeah, so the green uniform I'm wearing is actually a Venturing uniform.
Venturing.
Yeah, so
Do we have them here?
we don't have any crews here currently, so they're called crews. It's groups of boys and girls, and they, I was actually a Venture Scout, which is why I'm wearing
Really?
a green uniform. But we did a lot more camping and rock climbing and
Outdoor things.
Yeah, a lot more
Yeah.
high adventure stuff.
Sure.
The program is a little more flexible, so you don't necessarily have to move through the ranks. You just kind of go out and
Have fun.
yeah.
Enjoy.
Yeah, and then the 4th branch is exploring, and that is career-based posts are what we call them.
Almost like an internship?
Kind of. We have one post here in Muscatine, and it's at the fire department. So, and that's co-ed as well, high school aged, and they will come out to the fire department and learn what it's like to be a firefighter.
Neat.
Yeah, and so right now I'm working on getting together a police post as well. So we'll have some kids
Well, that's
learn what it's
exciting.
like to be a police officer. Yeah,
Sure, to try to help them understand and make a good decision on
Yeah.
if that's a career path they choose or that they really don't care for it either way.
yeah, yeah.
Sure. I didn't realize there was all that many things.
Yeah, there's a lot to our program.
So, Boy Scouts, the one that's 6th through 17,
Yes.
right? That takes girls and boys,
Yes.
but it's not Girl Scouts.
correct.
Girl Scouts is still separate.
Yep, they're a completely separate
So
organization.
girls can be in Girl Scouts or they can be in Boy Scouts.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
And we do have a lot that are in both. It just depends.
Sure.
Yeah.
My day job is with the YMCA. And we were kind of in those growing pains at one time, the YWCA and the YMCA, and then the YMCA allows women or men.
Yeah.
The YWCA only women. So there's all of that
Yeah.
as you're trying to go through how to make it all work for everyone.
Yeah.
Because you want to have a space for everyone.
Right. It is pretty new. Our Cub Scouts, our youngest elementary school, started allowing girls, I believe, a year and a half, 2 years ago. And that just exploded. And
Really?
we wanted it to be really family oriented. For example, I have 2 older brothers. So, but when I was that young, I wasn't allowed to be in Scouts because I was a girl. So,
Sure.
but I always went to all their meetings and did everything with them. And so our organization noticed that and we're like, why not? Like, why would we not invite girls to our program? So we opened it up, and Cub Scouts is very family oriented. We have a lot of girls here in Muscatine. And then our older program, middle school and high school, Scouts, we just started allowing girls in February, so they're brand new. But I will say we have a troop here in Muscatine, and they are thriving. They are our best troop here in the Quad
Oh, that's
Cities. I'm a
great.
little biased because it is here in
Yes.
Muscatine, but
Sure.
we have about 15 girls.
Uh-huh.
And they meet at Bethel Wesley, I believe is the
Okay.
church. And their leader is actually Mike Hartman, who is the assistant fire chief.
Sure he is.
Yeah, so he's a leader. His youngest daughter is the senior patrol leader, so she kind of takes over the...
Okay.
Yeah, so it's cool. It's been really cool to see them.
So the boys and girls, are they not commingled in a group?
In the older grades, they're not. They're kept completely separate.
Okay.
In their case of our girls troop here, they are like connected to a boys troop. So a lot of them are siblings between the two troops, but they meet at separate times. They do separate campouts. They are kept totally separate.
Okay.
Whereas at the Cub Scout, like I said, we kind of like to keep it more family, just make it easier for parents to take their kids to one place all at one time.
Oh, yeah.
And so they're kept separate, but they still do stuff together.
Right.
So it's a little confusing, but...
Well, I know you guys just had a bunch of campouts last month.
Yeah.
Because a lot of our kids in our family went.
Yeah.
And it was cold.
Yes,
It turned cold right before the campout. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, so all of our troops, they kind of do their own thing. The people in Scouts, are they older or?
Well, we have 2 in Wilton grade school.
Okay.
And they went on a campout.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. And then we have one at the high school
Okay.
who went on a campout just maybe a month ago.
Yeah.
And it was already cold.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They camp a lot, and it's kind of up to them how much their troop camps or not. Most of our troops camp at least once a month.
Sure.
And our Cub Scouts don't camp nearly as often just because they are younger and the parents have to go and all that. But it's been cold. We had last winter when I first started was when it was freezing cold here and snow every weekend. And our girls troop, actually, they were just starting up and they were out camping all the time in the snow. They were
my goodness.
braving it below freezing, yeah.
What kind of tents do you use?
Just regular tents, and you just
Oh,
have
goodness.
super warm sleeping bags. Wear lots of layers.
My family camps in tents, but we've been camping at Salisbury a lot lately because the rivers have been so flooded.
Yeah.
And but they have a plug-in, and I said next time I go, I'm taking an electric blanket and plugging that baby in.
Yeah.
I don't think you have to worry about fires too much, but oh my goodness.
Yeah.
But the campfires are so much fun, aren't they?
Oh yeah.
They're the best part.
Yeah.
And then do you go hiking when they're camping? Do they have structured activities as
Yeah.
well as downtime?
Yeah. Like I said, it's kind of up to our troops what kind of campouts they want to do. So I believe one of our troops just went rock climbing. I'm
fun.
not sure where, but I know a lot of people go out to Wildcat Den for hikes and stuff as a group.
Sure.
Yeah.
So what is your actual title? District?
District executive.
District executive. So what is your role then?
Yeah. So my office is actually in Davenport, Iowa. To kind of explain it, we are the Hoover District, named after President Herbert Hoover, because back a long time ago, before our boundaries changed, it included West Branch, which is where he's from originally. So we're Hoover District, but Hoover District is part of a larger area, which is the Iowa Council, which includes Western Illinois and Eastern Iowa, which is where you get Iowa from. Kind of fun play on words.
Yes.
So I work at the Davenport office, and I oversee, like I said earlier, all programming and fundraising and event planning and all kinds of...
So you're like a helper for the actual troops.
Yep. So I don't belong with one troop or pack or anything. I kind of help all of them out wherever they needed. So a lot of recruitment, a lot of fundraising for them. And
giving them ideas.
Yeah.
And, okay.
So I'm like the professional side of it. They get to have all the fun.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
So do you get to travel and go with them sometimes, or go to meetings? Or?
I do. I go to meetings not super often, but I meet with the volunteers a lot. Of all of our adults, we have meetings every week.
Is there a lot of training that goes on for the volunteers, the leaders?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So every leader is required to take youth protection training, which is a very extensive training to help protect our youth, basically. And a lot of larger companies have actually started using it as a training for them because it's open to everybody. You don't have to be a member of the Boy Scouts to take it. So every adult has to take that. And then if you're a specific leader for something specific, like if you're the Scout Master or a den leader, you have to take training for that as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you help oversee that?
Yes. Yeah.
Making sure that everybody has the appropriate
Yeah.
training that they need to be able to work with children.
Yep.
Very good.
Yeah.
I imagine, I mean, one of the things we talk about on the show a lot with the different organizations that we meet with is the need for volunteers and how we couldn't do the great work that we all do without community volunteers. It sounds like that's a big part of your program as well.
Yeah, we are completely volunteer driven. We couldn't do anything without the volunteers. So a lot of our volunteers are parents of the children, but we do have quite a few people that have been around here for a while where their kids are grown and moved on.
And they're still there.
They're still here helping out.
Because they love it.
Yeah.
That really is a testament to the program. When people stick around even when their kids are grown up and because they love it.
Yeah.
And they love the children and the impact that they make on their lives.
Yeah.
I imagine you must really see the growth.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you don't get to as much since you're behind the desk.
Yeah.
But certainly the troop leaders, I don't mean to keep calling them troops, the pack leaders.
Yeah.
They must really see the individual growth that the youth go through.
Yeah.
That's got to be very meaningful.
Yeah, oh yeah. And I grew up in scouting. Since I was female, I was a venturer, but I worked at a summer camp. I'm from St. Louis, so I worked at a summer camp back in St. Louis. So I got to see kids year after year come to camp and see them grow through the program as well.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's really cool.
You know, what better job than to make an impact in children's lives?
Yeah, it is the best.
And set them on the right path. You know, the path to being a good citizen of the community that they live in.
Yeah.
So do you live here in Muscatine?
I live in Davenport.
You live in Davenport?
Yep. So I moved up here in January. It was kind of crazy.
From St. Louis?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I came up during a winter storm for an interview, and my boss is like, "Great, you have a job. You start in 2 weeks." And I was like, I have to move my whole life up here to the Quad Cities. So it was very crazy 2 weeks trying to move up here, and it was during the freezing cold, like blizzard and snow, and I actually ended up moving up a day earlier than planned because the snow was coming in and we were trying to beat the weather.
Oh no. So you had to find a place to live?
Yeah. It was crazy. And I had never been to Muscatine before I started working here, but it's a wonderful little community.
Do you like the Quad Cities then?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm glad.
Yeah, it's great.
Sure. And you're not too far away from home where you can't go home for special events?
No, it's like 4 hours,
long
so it's
weekend.
not terrible. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Because is this your first time to live away from St. Louis?
Yeah. Well, besides college, but.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, good. We're glad that you're here.
Yeah, thank you.
We're glad that you're here. And you know, I mean, the Scouts is such a wonderful program shaping their lives and really helping them build those core values that is going to carry with them.
Yeah.
I think that's just amazing. Our youth need all the mentors that they can get.
Yeah.
And I love it that the leaders have good training and background and
Yep.
oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So is there any like big annual or special events coming up?
We have, we're about to hit the holiday season, so I will say we're kind of slowing down a little bit just because packs and troops and people aren't meeting during the holidays as much.
Sure.
But right at the beginning of the year, we kick off our largest campaign for fundraising. It's called Friends of Scouting.
Okay.
And so I'm sure you'll hear about it around town, but we do a lot of fundraising. It's a big part of our annual budget.
Sure.
So that's our next big thing coming up in January.
Well, please let us know when you're doing that because we'd be happy to share the information or have you back on the show. And
yeah, that'd be great.
I mean, I think everybody realizes the value in having our youth involved in programs like this.
Yeah.
And want to support it as much as we can. I think we have some contact information with you that we can share with our folks at home so they can get a hold of you if they have a question
Yeah,
or
definitely.
a concern. So they can just email you, call you,
Yeah,
anything like that.
Yep, my email is up there, or my phone number. That's our website there if you need information. But just feel free to email me. I'm pretty quick about responding.
Very
so.
good. So you have a Facebook page, and we just got to remember Herbert Hoover.
Yes.
So we're the Hoover District.
Hoover
so
District.
all of the PACs in Muscatine, West Liberty, Wilton, we're all Hoover District.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. That should be easy to remember.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for
Yeah,
coming,
thank
Amy.
you so much for having me.
Give us a shout out when it's time for that annual campaign because we'd love to be involved.
Okay,
All
awesome.
right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, as we get ready to close out the show, I would just like to share that guest next week, we're going to have Tiffany Huntington on. She works at Muscatine Community College, but she's putting together a blessing bag project. And you'll be hearing more of this as it comes out. More information is starting to come out into the community, and we're going to have her on our show next week to really give us the rundown on what this project is and how we can help be involved in it. Thursday night, there is a regular in-depth council meeting. So that's the meeting where it's less formal and we're going to just talk about a couple of projects and programs that are going on. Please remember that the Riverbend Mobile Food Pantry distribution today, they gave out food. And just to remember that it's at the Muscatine Community School District Administration Building now. The next time is going to be the second Tuesday in December. So that is going to be the 10th. So December 10th will be the next time. And they do run a shuttle back and forth from Cedar Park, Cedar Hills to the administration building every hour. So make sure that you tap into that service and program if you could use some food assistance in your family. Lastly, I just wanted to share that there's a symphony orchestra event coming up, and I didn't get the flyer uploaded, but they're amazing. So get on the Facebook page, just look up Muscatine Symphony Orchestra, and you'll see the event popping up. Wonderful things that they do, and this is just the time of year for us to all get warm and listen to music and do wonderful things with our family and friends that we're very thankful for. Thanks for joining us on Our City. We look forward to having you join us again next week, which is going to be November 19th, one of my grandson's birthdays. 18, my goodness. Anyway, have a good week. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to Jean and Amy for sharing their wonderful gifts with our city. Enjoy your day.